That's better. Yes, I feel like... Okay. Guys, good evening. Let me straighten this up a little bit. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I shall see you on here, I'm sure, in just a moment. I hope you're well. We are going to be speaking about girls. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you, Mrs. Yemisi Parker, for jumping on here. Do give me a wave. If I see your names coming up, I will give you your shout out. I know that you guys are joining now. How are you, Kojo Fori? How are you doing? Hi, Jay. Long time no see. We are going to be talking all things women 40 and above. Hi, Ade. Thank you for joining. It's good. I'm glad you guys are on here because definitely we are going to need your opinion, your reassurances, and your input tonight. So if I thank you so much for joining on here as well. Guys, if you could share this video. Hello, Julia Roberts. How are you? It's so lovely to see new people and regular people on here. Hi, Vicky. How are you doing? Great to have you on here. Guys, we are talking all things women 40 and above. That does not mean if you're under 40 that you're not relevant. Neither does it mean if you're a man, you're not relevant to this conversation. You absolutely are. Afolabi, thank you so much for joining and for sharing my videos as well. I really do appreciate it. Guys, as I always say, lovely Facebook are always changing the rules and what have you. So I find it very, very difficult to advertise this show anymore. So unless you guys share it, nobody ain't gonna know about it. So I am relying on your goodwill and your support to do what you gotta do. So what is happening tonight? Tonight, we are going to be talking about women. So what I like to do now is to basically give you the notes or the description, that's the word, the description of what we're going to be talking about. So that those of you that didn't see it during the week, you will know what it's about. And then you can obviously contribute to the conversation from a place of knowledge. So it's great that you guys are on here. I first would like to say a very good evening to everybody. Thank you very, very much. This is the 9th episode of Speak with Dilys. So by the end of the month, I'm going to be done. Okay. Hi, Ashanti. Thank you for jumping back on here. I think I said hello to Vicky Ado. S.A.M.O. Agege, thank you for coming on here. We are going to be speaking about women. Today's topic is called 40 plus over the hill, ? Are we over the hill because we're 40 and above? We'll find out. So, as I was saying, I can't really advertise the show anymore on Facebook because they've changed so many things around. So I'm quite content with quality over supposed quantity. Thank you very much, Julia, for sharing. Thank you. Guys, what are you waiting for, man? 5 people on here out of the 20-something that have just joined. Do share the video. That would be really much appreciated. So I think it's quite an apt conversation to be having today, primarily because tomorrow is International Women's Day. And I'm going to be speaking a bit more about that towards the end of the show. And the theme for International Women's Day this year is choose to challenge. So basically choose to challenge anything to do with gender inequality. Okay. So that is something that obviously is very close to my heart because of the work that I do and because of the activism work and other things that I've experienced. Thank you very much, those of you that have shared the live video. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Ashanti Ams, thank you for being on here. Leslie, long time no see. Nice to see you on here again. So guys, that's a little bit of background of what we're going to be talking about. So, let's see. So this show has been put together because I feel that it's very necessary that we have these kind of conversations that we don't normally have. And I'm very encouraged about those of you who have reached out to me and said, Dilys, and even guys have said to me, look, thank you so much for the show that you do, because you do have topics on your show that we don't really hear anywhere else, that people often shy away from. So thank you. It means that I am doing something right, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So hi, Angie, thank you. And Shay Lauren, Tinola, thank you very much. And Aisha Ankara, thank you so much for being on here. Guys, do share the video if you've joined it with just a little click. Oh, Dania, how are you doing? Long time no see. I hope you are very, very well. We're talking all things women 40 and above. Okay, so as I said, I put this show together because I felt that we needed to have conversations that we weren't having anywhere else, but not just to talk, but to be able to take personal responsibility for the conversations and things we learn here, such that we can take it outside and start to implement them in our homes and within our communities so that we can be responsible for the change that we want to see. Cheryl, thank you very much for joining. It's really lovely. Someone else has just jumped on here with an Arabic name, which I cannot pronounce, but you're welcome. So I am going to read to you what today's show is about. So it's entitled 40 plus over the hill question mark. In other words, are you considered to be over the hill because you're 40 and above? Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing this live video. Okay, so here goes. It is not easy being a woman, and it's even harder being an older woman. Some say life begins at 40, but for who? In many societies, industries and professions, women are seen as less relevant, attractive or useful after a certain age. But why? Worse still, you have fellow women looking down instead of up to a woman who is in her 40s and beyond. Add to the mix being unmarried or not having had children, you're an easy target for being the butt of jokes and further stigma. Why the ageism and lack of regard for the older woman? Have older women themselves brought into the stereotype? Why do younger women feel they're more desirable than their older counterparts? 40 plus over the hill is the 9th episode of Speak with Dilys right now. Thank you very much for joining, Denise. I have Patience on here as well, and Diane Burko, Ajwa Prempe. I got all the girls in the house. So lovely to have you guys on here. So you've just heard what we're going to be speaking about. And that is the 40-plus-year-old woman. Oh, I need to have a drink of water. Do excuse me. And I promise you it is water. I haven't had a gin and tonic in a long time. Hi, Abakuja, how are you doing? And I really want to hear your views on this. As an older woman, as a younger woman, and also as a guy. So I've got fluff on my nose somewhere. Sorry. I have this habit, if you've noticed. I'm always, Ikea, thank you for joining. Sputnik, how are you doing? Yes, you are in the house also. Definitely give my man a shout out. How are you doing? So guys, so this is what we're going to be talking about. So let's start. What does a 40-year-old woman look like? Or a 40-plus-year-old woman? Now, I never hide my age. You all know how old I am. I'm going to be 50 on the 11th of August. And I have also said that I accept checks, postal orders, I accept gifts. I'm not proud. I'm quite happy for you to open a bank account so that you can start saving and, you can give to the Dilys birthday fund. So I'm proud. I ain't mad at you. Okay, so Andrew says, oh my God, over 40s women are the most beautiful like you. Aren't you a sweetheart? Well, very soon, next year by this time, I can't even, claim 40s because I'll be 50. And very proud, by the way. So what does a 40-year-old woman look like? Now, when you look back, hi Karen, how you doing? Lovely to have you on here. When you look back at our parents' age group, at our parents when they were our age group, is what I'm trying to say. They look very, very different from the 40-year-old women today. Like, very, very different. When I look at my mum and how she dressed and what have you, they looked their age. I mean, not that they looked old, but they dressed their age. Their demeanor was very, very different. I think today's 40-year-old woman is very difficult to identify, personally speaking. And I think there are many reasons for that. We are taking care of ourselves more, I think. There's a lot more accessibility to plastic surgery. Let's be honest, let's go there. I think we are less, because we are getting married later, because we are able to have careers and we're not reliant upon men in the way that we may have been reliant upon them. My mother's age group, my mum's 80. I think it's obvious that it has allowed for a greater level of independence. And I think that contributes, I personally think, in making women maintain themselves in a way that they didn't before. So before, the whole idea was, you get married, you have kids, you're a housewife. Now, there are so many options that are open to us as women. And therefore, how we want to look and maintain ourselves has I believe, has had an influence in how we have grown into that age of 40 and above. Personally, I think that the confidence level of 40-something-year-old women and above is very different, but I don't want to go ahead of myself. What I would like to ask you, and I'm going to start reading out your comment, how does society look at women who are 40 and above, and how relevant or irrelevant are we made to feel? I would like you guys to answer that question. So I'm gonna read the question out again. How does society look at women who are 40 and above, and how relevant or irrelevant are we made to feel? Because I think that there is something to be said about the environment that we 40-year-olds have to operate in. And as much as we have our own identity, hopefully we do, how much we are allowed to operate and perform within that identity is also largely dependent on how society allows us to operate within that. So it's no secret that you know that I study social science, and I believe I've mentioned this before, but I was talking more about race. But I do think that this is applicable where you have what we call marked and unmarked identities. So if you have an unmarked identity, it means that you have an identity that doesn't have any stigma attached to it. So generally speaking, a white middle class male is an unmarked identity, as opposed to, you know, an immigrant or somebody from an ethnic minority, because there are social stereotypes attached to that image. I think the same can be said for women who are in their 40s and above. I think there is a lot that can be said for how society views those women and the kind of language and narrative that you know is often, you know, spoken around women of a certain age. And I think women generally, I would say this is more for older women. So for example, if we were in an office environment and I looked a certain way and I was of a certain age and I was unmarried and maybe I wasn't the friendliest of people, guaranteed what would normally be a comment that would be passed by both men and women is she needs to get her some. Those are the kind of comments that are made, because the idea of a woman being a certain age, not being settled, whatever that means, and not having children automatically means that you're a miserable old cow or old hag. And, you know, you'll have many different names that you will be called because you are of a certain age and fit a certain stereotype. Let me start to read some of y'all comments. Okie dokie. So somebody's laughing, ha 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 ha. Can't remember what I said there. And Yabaka just says, young and old as you feel and think. Mr. Urquhart, it's so lovely to see you, my wonderful friend. I was going to say that you were an eligible bachelor, but I'm not going to say that because I didn't say that. Moving swiftly on. Hi, Mavis. Thank you for joining. Switney says, that's a fact. Yesterday's 40 is different from today's 40. I definitely do believe that. Iris says, middle-aged women of today are as attractive as they were when they were teenagers. They say 50 is the new 30. I couldn't agree with you more, but why the middle-aged? And this is what I'm saying about the language that is like attached to us women. Okay. Yabba says we're more open. I believe that. And says more self-confident even if single. I believe that too, most certainly. And Yabba goes on to say not scared of being alone and actually proud to see the positivity of the job we are doing with our kids, like single-handedly. Very, very true. Cheryl says, it works both ways. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. At my age, I'm involved with a man 8 years my junior who makes me feel like a queen with no judgment. I like that. I like that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. As Whitney says, 40 and above women are powerful. Yes, we is. Can you see my power? Okay. And Tasha says, I am 40 and I don't consider myself being old. What is old, by the way? Old is relative. Thank you very much. I couldn't have put it better myself. Ade has once again written me a thesis. I shall come back to that as I usually do. Denise says, I think that society looks at over 40s as being past their sell-by date. Yep. However, I believe that most over 40s may have experienced the worst of what life can throw at them. And their voice is mostly coming from a voice of experience. I have to agree with that as well. 100%. Aisha Ankara says, I feel and look healthier than I did when I was in my 20s. I feel healthier. I am healthier than I was in my 20s. I don't think I drank water throughout my 20s. I didn't like water at all. See what it says on there? Fit. I have more energy than I did in my 20s. When I look at my lifestyle now and the things that I do, and I'm always on everybody knows how busy I am. I don't think I could have maintained this at 20 something. No, not possible. Okay, so those are your lovely comments. How does society view women? I think you guys have hit the nail on the head. I think society and the media very much make women of 40 and above feel quite irrelevant, or portray them as being less relevant. I think it goes back to this whole obsession with youth. Everybody wanting to feel young, maintain their youth and not grow old. And society is obsessed with that. You've got plastic surgery that's there for the taking. You have all these creams to, deal with your fine lines and your wrinkles and your what have you. We are constantly being fed younger is better. So even if you want to escape it, it's always in your face. When you look on the cover of magazines and what have you, it's very much an agenda, once again, to push youthfulness. Youthful is good. Going older is bad. Therefore, do whatever you can to hold on to your youth for dear life. And I think we go to extreme lengths to be able to do that. When you look at certain people that have had surgery upon surgery upon surgery, or sometimes the way people dress. And of course, to each their own, and that very boring phrase that just really irritates the hell out of me. But of course, people can do what they like, but we are talking about why people do the things that they do and how society sometimes can push an agenda to make us behave in a way that we wouldn't really behave in if society was more loving and more embracing of the fact that we are older women and we are relevant and that we have paid our dues to society. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Yemisi says, I am almost 54 and I feel powerful, confident and experienced. And you are all of those things. And more, and some. Yaba says more sexual. Well, shall we go there? Well, I'll tell you a little story. No, it's nothing that juicy, so you know what, you can close your jaws, yeah? So yesterday, I was speaking in this wonderful group called Amen. There was a group of about maybe 40-something men. And I've been asked to be a speaker in that group before, just a few weeks ago. And the topic was marriage, sex and finances, all the things a woman will not tell her man or her husband. And they asked me to come and speak to them. I was very open and I was very honest. And yesterday I had the pleasure of co-hosting with a lady called Diamond. I hope Diamond was going to be on here this evening. Lovely, lovely, lovely lady. And, it was interesting because at one point I did say to these men that at 25, I could not have been in this space. Forget the experience bit. But at 25, I did not have the confidence to be in front of, whether virtually or in person. This was, virtually, but I'm sure when the lockdown is over, I will go into that space in person. And own that space as an older woman, talking about sex very, very freely. And I mean, no hold barred, very open, very blunt, very, very me. But I was able to do that because I'm 49 years old. And I was able to do it with decorum and with finesse because I'm 49 years old. It wasn't coarse, it wasn't disrespectful, it wasn't tacky. But we got low down and nerdy. We had to speak about some things because we had to keep it real. So there is something to be said of a woman. This is just going back to Yaba's comment about being more sexual. And I think, yes, as a woman, you get to know your body more. And I think you own it more. Whereas, I was lucky. I was one of those 20-year-olds that listen, my stomach was slamming. Those of you, not many of you maybe knew me when I was in my 20s. But even up until my 30s, even after having a kid, I was one of those chicks that had a stomach that went in like that. Mine wasn't flat, it went in. Now he's going out. But you know what? We're not going to go there. But yes, I was very fortunate in as much that I had a good figure in my 20s. I had a great figure, actually. So I never really had that challenge of, I don't know, not feeling sexy, for want of a better expression. But being an older woman, it's in a different way. And I think in your 20s, I mean, I used to go clubbing, not very often. There was one club that I loved going to, a place called Hanover Grand. And let me tell you something. The clothes that I used to wear, in fact, they should have been illegal. I was very risque, like very risque. I would wear the most atrocious clothing. Like really, when I look back now, I'm like, Dilys, what the hell were you thinking? Like it was really bad. But it was to attract the opposite sex. And I think that's the pitiful thing about some of us 20-year-olds, because we do it not for ourselves. We do it because you want to be like, you know, have the guys with their tongues hanging out. But then it also explains the kind of relationships we end up being in, because everything is so sexual. It's not about what's here. It's not about what's here. It's about what's here and what's there. And because of our age, you know, in that space, we don't know no better. But being sexual as a woman who, you know, has hit 40, and you own who you are in a way that only age can make you own that. And, you know, no matter how much a woman thinks she owns herself, at 35, come and talk to me at 45. Come and talk to me at 45 and you tell me who you thought you were at 35. You'll be like, she didn't know nothing. Trust me, you know? So I think very much so what was said about being more sexual. I think you're more sexual in a more, I think, responsible way and a more unapologetic way. You own every part of yourself. You know, it's just different. Yaba photo says, my eyes are really bugging me tonight. I believe in myself, look and feel good. I am not allowing anyone to write me off or push me off the road. There is still more life in me. I will be 50+1 in a few days. Wonderful. Very, very happy birthday to you in advance. Thank you very much for sharing this live video. I very much appreciate it. And I am so glad that there are women on here that are owning their space unapologetically. See, I said that without fumbling on my words. Yeah? Right. Oh, she says, there's still more. I will be 60+1. I think I said that, or did I not? Forgive me. So Andrew says, guys, I believe are highly attracted to women in their 40s, 50s, 60s because you know who you are and are where you want to be in life. It's more a game changer. Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. Aisha Ankara says, to me, I'm so much more interesting and sure of myself than when I was younger. Yeah. Gosh, you guys are really... you're really giving me some ideas. I just have to agree with everything that you're saying. Someone says, so true. Aisha Ankara says, again, I really think that our society is changing and we are permitting women to age and be vital and to be vital and sexy and sensual and engaged in all aspects of life when I think, which I think allows more women to be happier. I think so. I think so to a degree in terms of allowing us to be more. I think it's in some areas, yes, in some areas, no, because, you know, when we talk about industry, when we talk about modeling, when we talk about TV, it's very much geared to the younger woman, very much so. And it's older women still trying to force their way in to be relevant in certain spaces. Even in the corporate world, there comes a point where when you knock that spot that you look slightly different, they are looking for the image of the company to look a little bit younger. And that can be said across industries, to be honest with you. So that's something that we most definitely have to change, or it means that more women have to start to have more female businesses that when we do employ women, we do not write them off because they look a certain way or whatever after a certain age. Kems, my girl, she says, age is nothing but a number. It's experience that matters. I am 42. Is that all? Yeah, I just said baby. I'm 42 and people still think I am in my 20s. Women, depending on their own experiences, regain confidence in themselves. Confidence in themselves. I owned my sensuality when I hit 40. You know, it's so true. And that's why I said that it's not there's something that happens to you when you hit 40. And someone said to me, wait till you hit 50. So it does get better with age, I think. Kems, from today, you better call me Auntie Dilys. Okay, Cheryl says, and sorry, you guys, you have to forgive me because I don't know what's wrong with my eyes. Cheryl says, gaining confidence after widowhood is hard in this society. Family is the hardest. Friends are not always wishing you the best. Going forward alone is very, very difficult, as you know. Yes, I do. We have to accept ourselves for what we are. That was hard. That was hard to become I and me as opposed to we and us. We have to stop worrying about others and find our happiness. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, yes, you're right. Obviously, I am a widow over 40. As to whether I'm still single, you're going to have to find out about that. But the fact of the matter is, in all honesty, you are made to feel that you've had your time. And because you've had your time, you don't have the right to live again. And I've experienced it. I experienced it, obviously, when I lost my late husband. People wanted to tell me, as a 40-something-year-old woman, when and if I would be ready or permitted to date again. And I'm thinking, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. I never asked your permission to do anything prior to me losing my late husband. Why is it just because I've had this loss that I suddenly am no more in control of my faculties or able to decide if and when I want to be in a relationship or not? I found that really weird. And I'm thinking, I'm not a child. So yes, Cheryl, I do absolutely agree with you. And I'm very happy for you that, you know, you're dating somebody who's 8 years younger than you, who treats you like a queen. That's how it should be. And I think this is the other thing that sometimes people tend to forget, that as women of a certain age, we can date younger if we want. And it's not because we look younger. We can date. Listen, if I dated a guy 10 years younger than me, if I dated a guy who was 39 years of age, I do not think that I would look like his mother. Neither do I think that I would look like his big sister. So I think we put too much restrictions on ourselves and what society thinks that we are permitted to do because we've hit a certain age. I think you can just do what you like. Adele, lovely to have you on here. Andrew says, oh my gosh, Dilys, you have a beautiful looking body now and a kind heart. Thank you. I'm trying to get this body under control, but we ain't going to talk about that. I got a skipping rope the other day, which I haven't used. It's in the hallway. I'm going to start skipping tomorrow. Justina says, you still have a beautiful figure. Thank you very much. I've just become very voluptuous. Let's be honest. Justina's known me since I was 13 years of age. I did not have the tattoos at 13 years of age. I just kind of grew into myself, you know. It is what it is. So this is a great thing with age. You know, your hormones start to play tricks and you just start to balloon. Saved myself $3,000 having a boob job. But thank you, Jesus. It is what it is. Right. So Kem says, self-love and self-worth makes your confidence exhale. I think so. Very much so. Leslie Ann Holder says, girl, I'm 50. Really? You so don't look it. See how I had to stop there? Okay, all right. Let me gather my thoughts. So Leslie Ann Holder says, girl, I'm 54 this year and I'm so owning. Well, yeah. I would never have guessed. Oh, my sweetheart Danny Blacknett is in the house. Hey, how you doing? Gordon Ofe, is that Labi? Thank you very much for being on here. Olanubi, I'm much more confident and more myself and vision driven. Excellent. We have spoken a lot and I'm reading out a lot of comments, but I haven't even reached halfway. Okay, guys, can you do me a favor? Whilst I am taking a sip of my water, could 5 of you guys be kind enough? Thank you, Tina Menz, for joining me. Hello, Malcolm Pryor, our dear darling Malcolm. Nanaya and team, thank you for being on here. And Joyce as well, Asantua, lovely to have you on here. I'm going to take a swig of this. Do you mind, 5 of you, just sharing this video? Share it to your page, or invite a 40-something-year-old woman who maybe isn't feeling too confident within herself. Invite her on here and let's kind of give her a boost. Let's do that. I'm so thirsty. I don't know what's wrong with me. Righty here. So have I got my 5 people sharing? Let me see. Alicia Jackson, lovely to have you on here. So guys, let me go back to... Ada, you're going to hate me, but do me a favor. Cut and paste your comment, because I've got so many comments on here. Can't paste. Kevin said, Auntie, yes, I'm Auntie Dilys. Hello, Malcolm. Malcolm says, hey, Dilys, good to see and hear you. Good to see you too. I was thinking about you yesterday. Lockdown's going to be over soon. You know what that means, don't you, Malcolm? You see, Malcolm's lovely, so he's being invited to my house on a Sunday to have Sunday dinner with me and my daughter. Bella, thank you very much for being on here as well. So, Ade, post your comment back here so that I can read it. And I'm going to just go back onto my notes and go on to the next point. So we've spoken about magazine covers and TV roles and body image. And I want to explain to you how much this means to me. So, hi Rita saying, Gary, thank you for joining. Lovely to have you. Let me tell you something. For those of you that have been on my Facebook for more than 7 years, I would say about 6-7 years, you would know about the Fit Chicks Club. Fit Chicks was a movement. And the story behind Fit Chicks was, at the age of 42, I think I wanted to become fit and healthy. What I didn't want to do was just to conform to any particular body type. I just wanted to be fit and healthy and change certain things within my lifestyle that I felt needed changing. So I formed this wonderful movement, health, fitness and lifestyle movement called the Fit Chicks Club. And it was primarily for women who were 40 and above. What it did for women of that age, and those of you that know about Fit Chicks, I would be really grateful if you would post some of your comments of your experiences of being in the Fit Chicks Club. What it did for us women of 40 and above was it made us not only relevant, but it made us feel beautiful within ourselves. I think our strapline was, to be a better you. It made us feel great. It made us feel important. It made us feel beautiful because we weren't comparing ourselves to anyone else. We were just looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, right, this is what I see. And this is what I would like to change for me. This is what I want to change for my immediate circle and my family. Eating healthily, being more supportive to other women. It was a sisterhood. And that came about because we recognized who we were in terms of women of a certain age. And, it's a shame because I was actually going to be launching Fit Chicks at 50 next year. However, because of coronavirus, I couldn't do it. So I was actually in talks of having 50 women dotted around the world who were going to take us on their fitness journey and have this great reveal on my 50th birthday this year. Hold on, how old am I? Yeah, sorry, this year. So I forget how old I am. So it should have started last year for the great reveal this year for my 50th. But unfortunately, that could not happen. But it is still going to happen at some point. So just to make the point that, being 40-something is to be celebrated. And it was a great movement. I mean, for those of you that remember, we would wear, red at our events. We had a lovely spa weekend break in Brighton. I was launching Fit Chicks in Ghana. I was going to go to Nigeria. It was great. And it's going to happen still. So now it would just be Fit Chicks at 50. All right. So Ade says, thought-provoking topic and one which probably has origins in natural selection centuries ago. Now, you're going to have to forgive me because I don't know, maybe I'm overtired, so my eyes are really tired. Women would compete for the alpha males in their gathering. They sought men who were hunter-gatherers and provided protection for his partner and offspring. Similarly, men chose women of childbearing age, 20 to 40, to pass on his genes and nurture the children. One should note that the human lifespan was shorter back then. You see, Ade always comes with a lot of education, If you didn't go to night school. Okie smoky. In modern times, folks live much longer and roles evolved after the Second World War and the 60s sexual revolution. It became clearly apparent that women were just as competent as their male counterparts in industries such as science, healthcare, politics, legal, etc. Regardless of age, gender equality has gained momentum and more needs to be done to achieve full equity in how age is perceived. There are certain areas where the historical preference for younger women has taken a while to improve. Media example, the BBC, and movie entertainment. We all grew up watching Hollywood films where the men were leading Hollywood films. Sorry, my eyes have gone. We all grew up watching Hollywood films where the male lead was easily 20 to 30 years older than the female consort. And this was before the big impact of Viagra, pun intended. Work aside, healthy lifestyles and exercise regimes mean that many women, and I think, I did touch on that, look decades younger, even without enhancements, and the inundated with private messages from chaps. One has even had marriage proposals from, oh, shut up, from Indian men. Watch this space, LOL. 50s. Ada, you're so out of order, you know. And I'm reading this thing and you're having, I will ban you. Where's Anita? Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Let me not be modest. I'm going to be honest. I have more men interested in me now, having had kids and knocking 50, than I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. And men from different nationalities, more than, it's not just black men. So yeah, I think I did say the other day that, you know, if you ever took a look at my inbox, oh gosh, I say the horrors that lie in my inbox, Jesus Lord. Yeah, very interesting place to be. Yeah, so, you know, and I think I touched on that, I think when I was talking about colorism, where, you know, you have a lot of, or some dark-skinned women saying that men only like light-skinned women. I'm like, that's just nonsense. That is not true. Maybe they just don't find you particularly attractive. Not because you're dark-skinned. Maybe they just don't find you attractive. Because that ain't true. So we need to get some of this nonsense out of our heads. Really, some of it is just rubbish. Aisha says, the modern cult of youth prohibits us to look our age. Even Hollywood stars, such as Gillian Anderson, are criticised by some people. Viewers aren't willing to accept one's natural appearance. That's true. I think that is quite true as well. Somebody says, yep, my main issue, I can't leave, seems to let my hair go grey, leave for a while, then back to... Listen, I don't like grey hair. I don't care. I don't see why I have to have more grey hair than my mum, who's 80. That's a liberty. I would dye my hair. You hear? You don't like it, that's your problem. Henrietta says, I hit 40 and learned how to say no. That's interesting. I hit 50 and I was by all the toxic hangers on. I'm 57. Wow, I'm 57 this year. You see, all these women, they don't look their ages, you know. I'm 57 this year, and I can't wait to get to 60. I can't tell you the number of younger women who want to be like me. Yeah, I can believe that. My style, my energy, etc. I won't swap me now for the younger me for any amount of money. Like you, I cringe at some of the cultures. Some of the clothes I wore when I was younger. But now my clothes are worn with a certain confidence I didn't have before. Bring on Hetty at 60. Absolutely. And you know, I feel you, because you couldn't pay me to be 30. I don't think you could pay me to be 40. Maybe 45. But any younger. And those of you that are my very close friends, like from when I was young, would tell you that I always wanted to be older. I always said, I can't wait till I'm 50. I can't wait because I knew that I would step into my destiny and into the fullness of my calling on this earth at that age, or from that age. And it's something that Yemisi has been saying to me for years. She was the first person that vocalized that to me. And she was absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. So, another swig of water. So guys, whilst I'm having my swig of water, see, I'm a lady, I don't drink from bottles. It's a liar. I actually have been drinking apple cider vinegar all day, but I had to jump on it. I wasn't quick enough to run over there to get it, so it is what it is. Right. Are you guys going to share this video and show your sister some love? Are y'all going to be just so selfish and watch on your own? Okie Shmoky. So, Alison says, aging has made me accept and love who I am. I am not the sunshine as I used to be in my youth. I have a floppy disk. Oops, sorry. I have a floppy disk boobies that I need lifting up to where it belongs. And due to breastfeeding, but so long as I'm happy and my man is happy with me, I don't care. I'm happy. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's funny because actually I don't have floppy disks. I don't know what happened to me. Let me not go there. I don't know. But yeah, I think I feel better at this age, most definitely. So we've spoken about Fit Chicks and why Fit Chicks was so relevant and why I'm going to bring the Fit Chicks Club back. I think we need it. So what do you think as older women that we put out there that makes people think that we want to be younger? What do you think it is that we do? Is it that we sometimes compete with younger women consciously or subconsciously? Is it, I don't know. So I'm asking the question. I don't have an answer to that because that's not my reality and I haven't researched it or thought about it deep enough to find out the reason as to why we may be putting out. No, I think I do know the answer to that. I think the answer to that is just simply the fact that some women do want to be younger. Some women are afraid of being older. Some women, why did I say I didn't know the answer to that? Because I do. Some women genuinely believe that men are attracted to younger women. We women put a lot of nonsense in our heads, We put so many men like women with big boobs, men like women with big butts, men like women who are light skinned, men like women who are blonde, men like women who are, listen, men like women, period. Short, fat, tall, skinny, pretty, not so pretty, beautiful, not so beautiful, short hair, long hair, big lips, small lips, big up. Listen, men like women, period. I don't know why women seem to have been so successful at brainwashing themselves or brainwashing ourselves into believing that men only like a certain type of woman. And feeling that if we don't fall into the category of that type of woman, then we are no longer attractive. It's a foolish narrative that I don't know where it came from. The men that are attracted to me are not the same men that may be attracted to, I don't know, maybe my brother's wife. Totally different looking women. Totally different. And I made a joke the other day that, I think I must have frightened my brothers because I've never seen my brothers date any woman who has been out here and out here. I said, I think I've put them off. So I don't understand why we women have convinced ourselves that because we're older, we are not as attractive. You can't get back your youth. That's why you live each day with purpose and intention. Life was never designed for you to be able to relive your youth. Life was designed for you to just live in the moment and to enjoy the moment. You cannot go back in time. Not in terms of your looks, but I think that if you take care of yourself, you're going to look better. But if life has happened to you, i.e. you've had cancer or you've been ill, shouldn't the fact that you're still alive take precedent over what you look like to a degree? Is it not what we are really dealing with here? Vanity. Some of it is just plain old vanity. We are in a society now where we are so self-absorbed, self-seeking, self-obsessed that we cannot see beyond self to appreciate the things that really should make us grateful for life. We're here worrying about whether we look as young as we once did, whether we are as beautiful. It's all vanity. Because in the scheme of things, and maybe it sounds very, simplistic, but having lived with or witnessing sickness and it not ending, it not having a happy ending, would you not be more inclined, especially in this climate of what we have all been exposed to, be more inclined to be grateful for health than beauty. Many beautiful people are 6 foot under. My late husband was a very handsome man. He's not here. So I think we need to sometimes question some of the things that we have hang-ups about. When I speak about my age, the way I do so openly, not because I need people to say, oh, Dilys, you look lovely for your age. No, I am saying my age because I'm not ashamed of it. A lot of us women will not say our age because we are ashamed of our age. There are some women that would rather die than have anyone know how old they are. Why? Is it because you feel that you haven't achieved in life? Is it because you feel, or because you have bought into the societal judgment and foolishness that you are not relevant if you are a certain age and therefore you hide it? Is it that you yourself feel that you are a failure as to why you do not wish to disclose your age? Because what is it? And if we don't own who we are, how do we expect other people to look up to us and respect us and equally value us as we do ourselves? So sometimes we have to kind of switch the mirror the other way around and look in it and ask ourselves some questions. What is it about us that is allowing this group of people to think this way about us? Now, as I said before, many a time, we women are our own worst enemy. I cannot tell you the number of times people have tried it with me because I am older than them. But I can honestly tell you that, and I don't often say, oh, this person is jealous of me. It's not something that I say often, but there are times where you just got to call a spade a spade. And I remember in my old workplace, I was a manager and I had a lady that worked for me. Now she was about 30. I was about 8 years older than her. Her last child was 8 years old and my daughter at the time was about 5. And people used to call me, my nickname in the office was Diva. Not that I acted like a diva, they just called me Diva. And for some reason, she couldn't help herself but to call me Old Diva. And I think it used to irritate her when she heard people referring to me as Diva. So one of the other ladies that used to work with me used to get really annoyed. And I never said anything to her. I just left her. And I remember my other member of staff used to say, why do you keep letting her call you old diva, old diva? I said, don't worry. You know me, I'm silent and deadly. I'm slow but sure. When I'm ready for her, she gonna learn. And I'll never forget, we were standing by the lifts and there were people there and she started sniggering. I don't know, I think somebody paid me a compliment or something. And that was when she interjected with, you're an old diva. I said, let me tell you something. How old are you? I am about 8 years your senior. And you still, even at your age, don't look as good as me. You want to pray that you look as good as me at my age. Because right now, you ain't doing too well. I said, look at your stomach and look at mine. Your lastborn is 8 years of age. You have had 8 years to get your stomach back in check. My lastborn is 5 and look at my stomach. Plus 8 years on you and you're calling me old diva. I said, you know what? Don't embarrass yourself. Because if somebody saw me and you standing together, they would think you were older than me. Needless to say, it was the last time she ever called me old diva again. Another time I was at work, similar thing. Oh, but you're just old. And I'm like, girlfriend, what is your problem with my age? I haven't said I'm in competition with you. So sometimes I think the younger women are threatened by our confidence, by our fabulousness. And that's why we need to walk in it. But because there is such an entitlement to being, feeling that they're the only ones that have a monopoly on feeling great, she thought, or these people thought, that by calling me old, and how old was I at the time? I was like 40, was I even 40? I was like 41. What? No, I wasn't 40 then. I wasn't actually. I was in my late 30s. And this stupid girl was coming out with, oh, but you're old, but you're old. And I'm thinking, because there is a natural assumption that an older woman is unhappy with being older, we need to shut it down. We need to shut it down because it's not true and it's not a fact at all. Do I look like I'm bothered about my age? No. Aisha says, a woman who understands the power of her femininity, I never pronounce that word, knows she is on a high, is of high value. Oh, 100%, without a doubt. Olanubi says, I think more women have been listening to the latest Red Pill stuff and Kevin Samuels. He is a speaker that tells men that let me finish reading your comment. Tells men that their value increases with age and money and women's decrease with age and money. Let me tell you something about that piece of crap. That man has got to be one of the most disgusting, affected, disrespectful pieces of irrelevant vermin I have ever come across. I would like for that twerp to stand in front of me and speak that kind of foolishness. Let me tell you about that man. That man hates women. I'm sure if you look in his past, he has a very toxic relationship with his mother and other females. That man is not a lover of women. He hates women. And when you listen to the bile and the filth and the nonsensical foolishness that escapes his lips, it is a wonder and very, very sad how anybody would actually give that buffoon a platform to spew his filth, because it's really, really, really damaging to a lot of women. I mean, if you're a woman and you value yourself, don't go and listen to that man, because you will come away feeling less than. And I think that man is demonic, quite frankly. He's vile. Nina says, maybe it's lack of self-confidence in some women. Flaunt what you have, because the greatest gift you can ever have is a sense of self and self-worth. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Nanayao and Tim says, I think you've added more value to yourself. Whilst you inspire others, you inspire and improve your qualities. Your swag, your presentation on the show, your looks. Oh, you're talking about me. Bless you. Thank you very much. Your looks and the way you dress up for your listeners even put you at a different level. It's a whole new package that defies youth. Oh, that is such a lovely comment. I really do appreciate it. And absolutely, you guys are worth me trying to make an effort so that I'm not an eyesore on a Sunday. Olanubi says, in Nigerian society, age and singleness is a big thing. So it is in the Ghanaian society as well. So saying your age might be seen as chasing potentials off and therefore discouraged by the aunties. And this is why we have to make sure that we say our age and discourage the potentials. Because what are you going to do when the potential comes looking for you? Are you going to lie about your age? Are you going to say that you're younger than you really are? I hope not. And this is what I'm saying about owning your truth, owning who you are. You couldn't shut me up. I'm widowed. I'm 49. I got 2 kids. But hear what? I am more desirable now than I was when I was single with no kids. And I will have nobody tell me any different. You know, so if we keep silent, and this is what I'm saying, by keeping silent, we feed into the stereotype. We feed into the negativity. We feed into the labels and the boxes. But if we're like, right, we are 40, that's why I formed the Fit Chicks Club. Because it was for women over a certain age saying, you know what, we're here, we're relevant, we ain't going nowhere, and we love who we are, and we're fabulous. That is why it's important not to stay silent and just fade into the background, because just to make other people feel comfortable. Ola says, maybe he gathers men like him to listen to. Honestly, that man, he needs Jesus, like seriously. He needs certain exorcism. Yabba says, I am mid-40s, grey all over my hairline and still feel young mentally and physically. And boy, I live it every bam bam. Nice one. Gosh, my time has gone really quickly. Wow, guys. Okay, let's wrap it up because I didn't realise I've only got 4 minutes left. So that's just crazy. Okay, schmoking, showing conclusion. What I'm going to say is, first and foremost, we need to address our issues with self. And I have mentioned this about self-absorption and vanity. And it's vanity and self-obsession, not self-love, that makes this an issue. If you love who you are, you will not be hiding your age. You will not be apologizing for who you are. You will own every bit of who you are. I want to read out this comment because I've not seen this name before. Mamle Yoko Godwin says, exactly, I tell them my age, who I am and what I do. That rubs their ego and pushes them away. And I boldly laugh so hard with confidence. And that is exactly how it should be. So it's really lovely having you ladies on here. And it's so nice to hear how positive you are and you know, and how you're owning who you are. It's fabulous. It's really encouraging for me. What I would like to say about women who hide their age for no other reason because they just don't want people to know how old they are because they somehow feel a bit funny about aging. Every year we are able to celebrate a birthday is a day and a year that we should be grateful for life. Because what's the alternative? You want to die young and beautiful, or you want to grow old and beautiful? Because I can tell you, there are so many people. We're only in March. There are so many people that have lost their lives, young, beautiful women, in this COVID era. You blink, somebody's gone. You blink again, somebody else has gone. What they wouldn't give to have grown old, I'm sure. So before we really just look at ourselves and become so self-obsessed with youth and beauty and what have you, maybe focus more on health and life and gratitude that we are still here and that we are blessed to be able to wake up in the morning and everything is working. Everything is working as it should. You know, your arms, your legs, you can turn your head from side to side. You can see, you can hear, you can breathe, you can think, your faculties are all intact. You know, you can move your fingers. And I'm doing this and I'm telling you, there are people that didn't have that privilege. There are people that don't have that privilege. You know, so let's start to celebrate the things that are really important, like life. If you can be ashamed of your age, then it means you have something to celebrate because you are blessed with time, something that many people haven't been able to experience. And that's why they say youth is wasted on the young. If you don't understand the meaning of that, go Google it. Youth is wasted on the young. It means that with all it means that as a young person, they have no real appreciation of life. That's why they say youth is wasted on the young. They have no appreciation of life. But we are here and we should be grateful and thankful to God that we have had the opportunity to go through different decades. And what I would like to say to any woman out there that feels that she is not relevant or is struggling to find her place in this world, let me tell you what you can do. With all the wealth of experience that you have acquired over the years, go find a young woman, a 20-something-year-old woman maybe, and start to impart your life lessons and your knowledge onto her. Then you will know how relevant and how important your age is. It's not to be frowned upon. Just because we have people that aren't enlightened, aren't sensible enough, aren't clued up enough to appreciate what it means to be a woman, whether she's carried children in her womb or not. The one who hasn't carried children in her womb, she has a story to tell. She has an encouragement to give to another woman who may walk the same path as her. For those that have carried children in our wombs, we have got stuff that we can teach you about certain things. For those of us that have been married, there's some stories we can tell those up and coming. For those who haven't, there are people out there that don't want to ever be married. You are relevant. What I'm trying to say is, no matter what path you have walked in life as a woman, as an older woman, there is something that you can give back. There's something you can give back. There is somebody, whose life that you can sow into. You are absolutely 110% more than relevant. More than relevant. So if we dwell on those things, dwell on our pluses, I think we'll be able to celebrate ourselves and life a lot more. So on that note, guys, that brings me to the end of this particular show of Speak with Dilys. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you'll share the video so that other people may be able to benefit from having, being a part of this kind of conversation, even though it won't be live for them. I would also like to invite you onto my show tomorrow, which will be dedicated to women for International Women's Day tomorrow. I will be on Injection Radio between 8 and 10 a.m. The station it's an online radio station, so it's www.injectionradio.com. I will have 2 guests on there. You'll have to tune in to find out who they are. One owns a publishing house. She's a publisher. The other is an entrepreneur and an activist from America. They will be on the show tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about, choose to challenge, which is the theme for International Women's Day this year. So come on the show tomorrow. It will be really great to hear your voice. There will be an opportunity to phone in and give your views. And as usual, it will be interesting. Walidi Wadaman is going to be there tomorrow at some point, I do believe. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate you. I am very, very encouraged by your participation in these conversations. I am encouraged at the fact that some of you show up nearly every week. I do not take it for granted. As I said, this was the 9th episode. Next week will be the 10th. So we only have 4 more episodes of Speak with Dilys to go. So if there's anything that you guys really, really want me to discuss, then do that. I think maybe the last episode, I might just have different people come on. I think that's what I might do. Have different people come on and tell me what you have thought about the show and how it has impacted you. So that's what we're going to do. That will be the last episode of Speak with Dilys. It'll be a special. It'll be an 1.5 hour special. So for those of you that want to be on that, can you send me an inbox message to let me know how you've enjoyed the series, whether it has made an impact in your life or not, what you've enjoyed, what you think could be better, whatever. I would love to hear your views. Thank you very much for joining me. I shall see you tomorrow morning, hopefully on Injection Radio. So it's www.injectionradio.com between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. I shall see you. Thank you very much and rock on 40 plus. You are 40 plus and fabulous, and do not let anybody tell you otherwise. Take care, people. As I say, in all you're getting, get understanding, and know that all things are permissible, not all things are expedient. Take care. God bless. Bye, people.